let's get started. A quick recap. So we are going to cover back some of the critical components of AOM1 so that, these are things that you should remember to bring forward to AOM2. Now, the key guiding principle, if you can recall in AOM1, we said that life is a journey between birth and death. So birth meaning the start of a life cycle, death means the end of the life cycle. And then when you end this life cycle on Earth, you probably will be opening up a new life cycle somewhere else. I don't know which dimension. Yeah. Okay. So it's a journey between these two. You can't control this birth and the death, but you can control something in between. And that something in between, which is in your control, is called choice. So I Ching knows that. I Ching say choice is very important. That's why leave behind a tools for us to use called I Ching prediction. Okay, I Ching prediction. So basically in AOM also is trying to tell us, learn to choose not to react. Okay, learn to choose not to react, but to respond. So basically, when you're hit upon with a situation, you don't react. Take a 2-second rule. I think we talked about that 2-second rule in AOM1. Take a 2-second rule and then think through. All right, process the situation. And then if you can, look through which of the hexagram fits the situation and then use the guidance from the hexagram to deal with the situation. So by doing that, you're actually responding. Okay, so you're not going to react, but you're going to respond. So next is you can't change the situation, but you can choose your response. Okay. Now, microscopic view. So we know that every choice we make, we are actually creating a life cycle. So for example, you decide to go into this secondary school. You have started a new life cycle about your secondary education, and then you end up with your graduation. And then you decide to go to either poly or go to JC, you are again starting a new life cycle of tertiary education. So on and so forth until you go to army, get married, giving birth, form a family. If you want to create your own business, run your own business, again creating a new life cycle. So you can have one big life cycle called your life, and inside the life cycle, you can also create many multiple life cycle. All right, so one life cycle is already very hard to deal with. So the more life cycle you create, the more hexagram you have to deal with in time to come. Okay, so in order to have a more happy life, peaceful life, the lesser life cycle you have, the easier to deal with lah. This is just my opinion. Okay, so within the start and end, whichever life cycle you create, there will be a start, there will be an end. So within that one, I Ching says every life cycle, basically there are 6 phases because of the 6 line. Okay. And every phase of a life cycle has a start and end too. That means every line, there is a start and then end, and then move on to line 2, and then start end, move on to line 3, start end, move on to line 4, line 5, line 6. Okay. So with big, on the macro level, you have the life cycle. And on the micro level, you have the 6 phases. And each one of it, each component of it, there's always a start and end, start and end. Okay, so when a life cycle ends, another starts, yeah? Basically, since we know this is going to be the pattern that we live our life, so I Ching has this to advise us. Choose wisely what you want to start. Okay, and once you decide to start, please complete it with style. Okay, so in Chinese, there's another 成语 called 慎始善终. So Chinese is very fond of 善终. And then 慎始 means be prudent in what you want to start. Okay, and then for example, if you join this company, when you resign, right, please resign with style. So you want to end your stint with this company with style. Okay, not on a bad note. So something like this. So if say once we born, we are towards death. It's the journey how we want to shape the life till we die. And another new life cycle again and again. Master, may I ask, the I Ching teaches us to stop the cycle? I Ching never teach. Okay, I Ching never teach, but I Ching drop some hints. Okay, drop some hints. So this some hint is not expressly written anywhere. Okay, so it's for us to go and extract out insights. Remember, we talked about five elements, I think, in some other lessons. Now, this whole universe is all about five elements, and all of us are actually living within this five element. So if you really want to end this start and end, right? You have to jump out of this life cycle, this five element. How to jump out? I don't know. Okay, seriously, I don't know. If I know, I already jump out already. Okay, but since I don't know, and since we know, at least I know we have to live through this the life cycle, then we must make full use of what we have learned and what we know. Is that okay, If? Okay, now let me just quickly randomly flash out this slide. Okay, Ukraine pleads for more weapons as European leaders expected in Kiev. Which hexagram you learn in AOM1 best describe this Russian-Ukraine conflict? Can you recall? In AOM1, only 12 hexagram only. Which of the 12 hexagram do you think can describe this situation about Russia-Ukraine situation? Thank you, Helen. Song. Song means arguing. And resulting from song, what happened next? Now, song is one thing. How they respond to this song. How Ukraine respond, how Russia respond. What do y'all think? If say laugh out loud, but master, if we know the five elements, how to support and conflict, are we able to stop the cycle? But they will still happen, isn't it? Sorry, just curious. Okay, now when I say learn the five cycle, living the five element way of living, doesn't mean go and support and conflict. Meaning 天人合一,天人合一, live like how the universe live her life. That's why 圣人,真人, all the saint, okay, and all the Taoists, they are aiming to do that. 天人合一. That is the closest to jumping out of the fire element. Okay, so 天人合一 means live the way the universe live her life. Okay, back to this slide here. They started out from song, but they choose the response of 丝卦. Okay, choose the response of 丝卦. They didn't go for 比卦. Okay, they should go for 比卦. If they go for 比卦, I think the situation today would be very, very, very different. All right, they choose to go for 四卦. All right, and then Ukraine, being the smaller country, go and get help lah to go and further the 四卦. Right, so that's why after how many months? 6 months, it's still like that, still like that, dragging on. Okay, so we can always look at world event, current affairs, and then see, oh, this fit which hexagram, this fit which hexagram, and then look into those hexagrams, say that how do they respond, how do they react? This is where we learn. Okay, ultimately, the one who chooses the right response controls the game of life. Very simple, very straightforward. This is what Yi Jing keep telling us. If you know how to choose the right response, you are actually controlling the game of life. Game of life, sorry. Okay. So some more examples. So in life, it's never the situation that's the problem. It's the way you choose to view it. So in life, okay, I mean a lot of things can happen in life. So even though we can talk about in COVID-19, it's never the COVID-19 that's the problem. It's the way you choose to view it. Right? So US has their own way of viewing COVID-19. New Zealand has their own way of viewing the COVID-19. Singapore also has. So therefore, their response are all different. China also has. That's why their response to COVID-19 is also very different. Okay. So what do we do? Yi Jing says choosing the right response all the time. How? It teaches us few things. Number one, see beyond the frame. Okay, observable and unobservable. I hope you still can remember. If not, please log into the training portal, rewatch back AOM1. Adjust your depth of view to see both, and then the yin yang approach, and then the universal principle based living. If say master is Wu Wei considered a response, yes, Wu Wei is considered a type of response. That's right. Darren say a thought is just a thought till we choose the yin yang comes out. That's right. A thought. Okay, now a thought is already a taiji. Yeah. Okay, a thought is already a taiji because once a thought comes out, yin yang also comes out already. Should I do? Should I not do? Yin yang comes out already. So if you don't want this yin yang to comes out, right, don't even entertain this thought. Then it becomes the wuji. Okay. So life cycle, this is what we're going to cover in this Xu Gua Zhuan. AOM1, we cover 12. Today, these 3 lessons, we're going to cover the rest, yeah? And we already said that this is actually like a game of snake and ladders. Now, we ended AOM1 with hexagram 11, hexagram 12, 地天泰, and then 天地批. Remember, we said that when we talk about unshakable, right? When you have your first success, know that failure has already crept in. Okay, failure has already crept in. Back door. Okay, back door. Why? Because when 11 comes out, 12 is already neighbor already. Okay, so if you don't want to fall into hexagram 12, you need to 去皮, okay, 持态, prolong the 态, avoid the p. Okay, prolong the tide, avoid the p. So this is how what we want to achieve at the end of the day when we achieve success. And then we also end off to say that what we can do to prolong the tide is to follow this advice from I Ching. 安而不忘危，存而不忘亡。Okay, 治而不忘乱。Loosely translated is to be mindful of possible danger in time of peace. So therefore, you can see successful organization, countries, they have things like BCP, contingency plan, emergency reserve, etc., etc. I mean, prepare. Okay, prepare. Resiliency, basically. Okay, then, unfortunately, if, let's say, you landed yourself into hexagram 12, how can we quickly come back to 地天泰 in the quickest possible time? Okay, so basically, it's trying to tell us, go into 风雷翼, right? 风雷翼, and then 三折损, and then in what call that? After you've done these 2, basically you're on the way back to 地天泰. And this process is called right sizing. Right sizing means 三折损 means all those things that are not serving you, please throw away. All those things that are still serving you and can still be pivoted to other usage, expand the usage. Right? So that's why it's called benefiting. So if you can do that, after this right sizing exercise, you should be on the right track back to 地天泰. Okay, so one good example will be Fuji versus Kodak. Okay, one failed to do right sizing, one did the right sizing very well. So you can see, you can always Google and find their stories. Okay, so this is one way to revert from Pi Gua to Tai Gua. Later on, we're going to show you another way how to quickly overcome the Pi Gua. But in Xu Gua Zhuan, what follows from here is it says that 物不可以中皮. Okay, 物不可以中皮. 物不可以中皮 means no matter how bad things it is, it will never remain permanently bad. This is what it means. In Xu Gua Zhuan, it says 物不可以中皮 means no matter how bad it is, it will never remain permanently bad. It will turn good again at some point in time. So if you persevere enough, it will turn. Okay, so life is a relentless process of attrition. Basically, this is life, a relentless process of attrition. 损卦. Okay, now which hexagram is a good fit for this N group current situation? What do you think? And remember, I think last year, China extends a crackdown on Jack Ma Empire with enforced revamp of N Group. N Group attempt to go public listed in, I think, US. And then China came in very strong, clamp it down, right? So you can say that as a 皮卦. Thank you, Helen, as a 皮卦. So what approach can N group consider to get back to 太卦? I think this is what we have discussed. Basically, if they can do right sizing, they can come back to 皮卦 on good track. If say, but if this apply to people, good retain bad throw, how are we realistic? If the bad used to be good previously, may I have your thoughts? People meaning managing people, is it? Okay, if it's, let's say, it's about managing people, it's like retrenchment exercise. Too bad. Okay, redundancy. So that means we don't target on people. We're talking about job fitting. Okay, job fitting. Right? So if this post is redundant, then why should we want to retain that post? Because that person holding that post is good. You can redeploy them to somewhere they are useful. This is also part of Sun and Yi. All right. So it's not about people, it's about that job fitting and also about that job. Is it still relevant or not? You get my point? Is that okay if? Darren said it's true. Even how bad situation, even the last breath in this earth, we may have our realization. That's right. Thank you, Darren. Okay, so look at N group. N group, what they did is they go through that right sizing exercise, and what do they found out that who is not serving them at that moment. Okay, and they basically drop that someone. Okay, drop that someone. And then therefore, once that person was dropped from the organization, China back off a little bit. Okay, now I may not know the full story yet, but at least from the narrative posted in the news, this is what we see. If say, oh, okay, this is very painful despite no right, no wrong. There's no wrong. As long as we 真心对人, I think they will understand. You get my point? Because we are not against 不对人, 我们是对事. Another example. Okay, another example. I think also last year, Swiss Canal. There's this large container ship get lodged onto the shore and then block the entire canal, the passageway, and all the ships, all the freight are all held up very, very long behind. So how do they clear? This is another example of choke pipe 皮挂. Okay, this is another example. So when you see this kind of news, quickly think through, oh, what has the grandma fit this kind of situation? Must be 皮挂, because this is like a choke pipe. So how to clear this choke pipe? Then you think about what Yi Jing says, and then later on you follow this news and see what the people on the ground really do. This is how you learn fast with the Xu Gua Zhuan. Okay, so what they do, they pull together all the what do you call that, stakeholders, the ship owner lah, the Swiss Canal Authority, the Netherlands rescue team, Japan rescue team, the US Navy also offer help. Okay, including seemingly insignificant draggers and tugboats. Draggers is the one you see on the picture on the right. That's draggers lah, and then tugboats lah. So they pull everyone together, and even though this dragger seems so insignificant, seems so small, but you know what they do contribute to unlodging this huge giant subsequently. So don't think that small effort is nothing. A small effort, if you add up, it can become a big thing. So basically, from this case, you can see that if we see this as a battle, in every battle, the morale and the spirit of the people will decide the outcome. Okay. If it's asking, Master, what is the next hexagram to solving toppling? I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that with this example. Thanks for asking if. With this example, I'm coming to the next hexagram. Okay, so let me repeat this. In every battle, this is what Lee Kuan Yew's LKY said in 203. In every battle, the morale and the spirit of the people will decide the outcome. Do you agree with this statement made by LKY? If you agree, type a yes in the chat box. Okay, so it's the people. So you look at World event again. You want to see how true it is? Look at the world event. COVID strikes. PM Lee straight away come out and talk to the people. And along the way, keep coming out to talk to us again. So basically, what he's trying to do, okay, is to garner all of us to come together, okay, to come together to fight this battle of COVID. Same for the Swiss Canal incident. Whoever is in charge, garner all the related people together to solve the problem. Same thing with COVID, same thing with many other things. As long as you can see a choke pipe somewhere, the next solution, beside right sizing, the next solution is to garner all the people that you can have. If say, but master, LKY is a tough man. If we do not have such a heart, what shall we do? Do what you can do. Yi Jing says, 尽人事，顺天命. Okay, so if Yi Jing says, okay, if you come across a choke type situation and you need to garner, you do what you can. In the end, if it doesn't come out this way, then you find another approach, maybe the right sizing approach, or maybe if not, then another approach. Along the way, I may show you a third method, a fourth method of overcoming 提卦. Okay, so yeah, so bear with it, bear with me, right? So another second method is really to garner all the stakeholders together to overcome the tight situation. So that is where we're going to come in with